Welcome. So we're now going to talk about this example. So here we've got matrix A, here we've got matrix B. We're first going to ask ourselves the question whether or not the product of A and B is defined. In other words, it's saying, can I multiply A and B together? To determine whether you can multiply A and B together, what you need to do is see whether this number is the same as this number. Are they the same? Yes, they are the same, which means yes, this will work. You can times both of these together. The answer will be defined. The next thing that we want to do here is figure out the order of the product matrix. So in other words, once we multiply these two things together, what's the order of the new matrix? Well, how do we do this? You simply take this number and you take that number. That's going to be the new order, 3 times 1. Let's go to the next one. First things first. Is the product defined? So in other words, can you perform matrix multiplication? To test this, you go, well, is this equal to this? Is 1 the same as 2? No, they're not. That means you're not going to get a defined answer. It's not going to work. You can't perform matrix multiplication here, which means this doesn't make any sense. You can't talk about the order of the product of the matrix because you can't do the multiplication at all. We come to the next one. Can you multiply these two matrices together? Well, is this the same as this? Well, 2 is the same as 2, isn't it? 2 is equal to 2, which means matrix multiplication can take place. So yes, you can multiply these matrices together. What's the order of the product of the matrix? So once you multiply them together, what's the order of the new matrix? Well, it's going to be 1 by 4. 1 by 4. Now, before we move on, there's one more thing I want to analyze here. And that is, here, what we analyzed was A times B, right? A times B. What happens if we were to go B times A? So just swap them around. What would happen? Well, let's have a look. So all I'm doing here is I'm taking this and I'm putting it over here. So this is now 2 by 4. And I'm taking this and I'm putting it over here. This is 1 by 2. Can I multiply these two things together? Well, is this the same as this? 4 and 1, they're not the same, which means you can't multiply these together. So hopefully you can really appreciate here that the order really matters, because if you were to swap these around, you can't multiply them. So can you come up here and say order matters? And then write this for me. A times B does not equal to B times A when you're dealing with matrix multiplication. Now, when you're dealing with normal multiplication, yes, it is true, but matrix multiplication, it's a different kettle of fish. Don't think of something like this. So many people think, well, 3 by 2 is 6, and 2 by 3 is 6, right? So surely that logic holds true for matrices, but it doesn't. It does not. For matrices, the order matters. And we're going to be seeing that again and again as we go through here. But hopefully that gives a bit of a good introduction to things. See you in the next part.